Hey everyone, Evan Jones with you here for another episode of the RPAC Rundown Podcast. This week on the show, we will go through the football scoreboard brought to you by MNB Realty, recap our featured matchups from last week, and then after that, we have Logan Paben, the head coach of the Wallace Wildcats football team. He will join us on the podcast to talk about their 2-0 start. Be sure to check out rpacrundown.com and social media for all kinds of content. Of course, the RPAC Rundown Podcast is brought to you by a bunch of great sponsors like Arapahoe Rehab and Fitness, Cambridge Supermarket, Webb's Oilfield Service, Cambridge Rehab and Fitness, Onyx Native, and C+. We'll take a break. Be right back. Let's take a look at the RPAC football scoreboard for week 2. Alma took down Pleasanton 52-30. Bertrand got a win over Arapahoe 46-12. Cambridge beat Franklin 68-32. Dundee County Stratton got a big win over Bridgeport 42-16. Highline beat South Loop 28-6. Hitchcock County beat Maxwell 66-12. Mullen took down Maywood Hayes Center 35-16. Arthur County beat Medicine Valley 44-8. South Platte took down Paxton 50-7. Arcadia Loop City beat Southern Valley by 10, 48-38. Southwest took down Harvard 69-12. North Platte St. Pat's beat Sutherland 56-8. Wallace took down Creek Valley 48-12. And then finally, Juanita Palisade took down Fleming, Colorado 34-6. Once again, the RPAC Rundown Football Scoreboard is brought to you by MNB Realty, LLC. We'll take a break. Be right back. Last Tuesday, Cambridge played host for a triangular event between Paxton and Sutherland on the volleyball court. The Trojans swept the Tigers and the Sailors, and the Tigers swept the Sailors in the other match. It was a night of great volleyball. We have a full recap blog from that evening. We saw some great things from all the teams participating in the match. Cambridge was super scrappy on defense. Paxton did some really nice things on both sides of the net. And Sutherland, they just competed really hard. We want to thank our great sponsors from this featured matchup: Quartz Candles in Sutherland, Webb's Oilfield Service, Scouts Recreation, Hardin Agency, Cambridge Rehab and Fitness, and Western Nebraska Bank. On Thursday evening, we had a triangular as well. Full recap on the website, rpacrundown.com. Hitchcock County hosted Arapahoe and Dundee County Stratton for a triangular. Arapahoe swept Hitchcock County. Dundee County Stratton swept Arapahoe, and then Dundee County Stratton took down Hitchcock County in 3 sets. It was a great night of volleyball, a lot of athleticism on the court. Specifically from Dundee County Stratton. They showed a lot of athleticism on their squad. Scrappy defense from Hitchcock County and Arapahoe. They were incredibly fun to watch. Also for Arapahoe, they were lethal from the service line. They did a great job serving that night. Again, many thanks to our advertisers on this featured matchup: Hawkswell Motors, Benkelman Pharmacy, Bentley and Kisker PC, Prairie Girl Candle Company, Trails West, Arapahoe Rehab and Fitness, JBK Operating, and Dundee County Hospital and Quality Health Care. We said it before a time or two. We have recaps on our website from these matchups on rpacrundown.com. You can find highlights there too, sponsored by Prairie Girl Candle Company, and also interviews brought to you by Acme Printing Company. We are so thankful for everyone who sponsors and advertises with us. Let's take a short break, then recap our Friday night football game between Hitchcock County and Maxwell. Hitchcock County hit the road to Maxwell on Friday night for a battle on the gridiron. It was a beautiful evening, and the weather mirrored a first-round playoff game. Enough setting the stage, though. Let's get to the action on the football field. Hitchcock County took down Maxwell by a final score of 66-12. Some official numbers for Maxwell as a team: they had 28 yards passing and 127 yards rushing. Jesse Reyes was 3 for 11 passing. He had 99 yards rushing and 2 scores. Tayton Phillips had 2 catches for 28 yards. For Hitchcock County, they dominated the ground game with 299 yards as a team, and they had 55 yards passing. Carter Prop had 93 yards rushing. Grady Erickson had 79 yards rushing. Jack Baker and Jarrett Neben had 24 yards on the ground. Tyson Carlson had 23 yards and a touchdown. Brody Hubble had 21 yards and 3 touchdowns, as they did a really nice job of running the football that evening. Jack Baker was 4 for 6 passing with 58 yards and 2 touchdowns. Adam Kisker had 20 yards receiving and a defensive touchdown. Brady Erickson had 19 yards receiving and a score. And Jace Hawkswell, he had 16 yards receiving and a touchdown. This RPAC Rundown Featured Matchup was brought to you by Bentley and Kisker PC, Hawkswell Motors, Trails West, Elevate Wellness, providing physical therapy and a large range of holistic health services to the entire Southwest Nebraska region. JBK Operating, LLC, Cornfed Entertainment, Levi Watson and Zach Kerner, and Dundee County Hospital and Quality Healthcare. We'll take a break. Be right back. Now joining us on the RPAC Rundown Podcast is Logan Paben, head coach of the Wallace Wildcats. Well, Coach, you woke up on a Friday. You're 2-0. How does that feel?
It feels pretty good, especially with that first win against Arthur. That was huge for us. We look back at the stats, and that was actually the first time Wallace has ever beaten Arthur, and beating someone like Arthur, a school that has that culture, that tradition. I mean, when you beat a team like that, you kind of know your program is stepping in, it's going in the right direction there, and that was huge. And last night we played Creek Valley, and they were tough. They were better than what they were last year, and they were getting better. And we got a lot of the young guys in, so that helped out. But I mean, it's always good starting the season 2-0.
Yeah, for sure. Now let's talk about that Creek Valley win last night. Like you said, a tough team. You guys played really well. What did you notice that your team did well in that one specifically, Coach?
I think our boys, especially the first group, they took care of business right away. I mean, that was huge for our varsity kids. So then the whole second half, we got the young guys in and they got to play, which I think that's huge because sometimes as a coach, you want to just secure the win and kind of put it to them. But I mean, the young kids are at practice and they practice and they need a chance to get into the game as well. And I think with that, our blocking looked better. We still got some work to do on defense, but I mean, there's always something that you can improve on every game, no matter who you play.
Yeah, for sure. Now let's talk about that through 2 games. Like you said, the defensive side is something you want to clean up, but is there anything else that kind of jumps out to you that you guys need to work on going into week 3?
I think our passing game too needs to improve. We've only thrown the ball 5 times. So, but I mean, we didn't have to throw it much the last 2 games, and Colt is 5 for 5, which is good. But that's something that, especially if we want to get deep in the playoffs, we're going to have to pass a little bit more because their teams are going to want to shut down the run. So I say our defense and our passing game definitely needs to improve a little bit.
I don't think there's very many teams, Coach, that can say through 2 games they're 100% on passing. I think that's a pretty good stat for you guys early on. But hey, why throw it when you guys can run it so effectively? How much fun is it to watch your guys block so effectively so you can run the football so well?
That's huge, and we work on blocking and tackling every day. I tell our kids there's 3 things in a game that we need to do well. Is we need to win the turnover battle, we need to block, and we need to tackle better than the other team. And I think too, it's the blocking, but it's also we have 5 guys that we can run the ball effectively. We have Ashton Johns, we have Colt Franklin who can run it, Ivan Aceves, and then we have Braden Gardner who was our transfer this year. And we get those guys the ball, and I mean, and then Tyson Sullivan as well. Those guys, we get at the ball in space, and I mean we don't have to give someone the ball 30 times a game, and we can spread it out, give them at least everybody get 10 carries. And I mean, it's also hard on the opposing defense when you got 5 guys that can run it effectively.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be tough to scout. Now let's go back to week 1, that win over Arthur County. Like you guys said, big deal for Wallace Public Schools to get the win over Arthur County. But let's just set that aside, that how big of a deal it was to beat them for the first time ever. But just like you said early on, a step in the right direction for your program. How does that feel for you and also the kids to win a game against a top 10, even a perennial top 5 team in D6?
Yeah, that feels really good. Like I said, it was huge for the kids. I mean, when we played them twice last year, and they kicked our butt that week 1 last year, and then we got them in the playoff game, and our kids felt like that we improved and that we could beat them, and we were hanging with them. We went toe to toe in the Arthur game and the playoff game, and then playing again week 1. We kind of felt like, okay, if we get our stuff together, like we should be able to beat them. And the kids were that day at school, like I woke up super nervous. The kids were super nervous. And I just told them, I was like, hey, we just got to relax and play our game. And they did that. And there was a lot of stuff that we can still fix from that game. But I mean, overall, I mean, they played their butts off, and Arthur came ready to go. I told him, I was like, Arthur's one of those teams that you got to come ready to go. They're going to be ready for us. We were ready for them. And it was a really good game, and it could have went either way.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I had talked to a few people in my circle after you guys had taken down Arthur County, and it sounds like you guys in the off season hit camps hard. You did a lot of things right in the off season. How important was that to get some competition in the summertime to prepare yourselves for the season?
Yeah, the summer is huge. So the couple things we do in the summer, when you came for the weights, we implemented something new, which was the competition. And so you witnessed that, and that is more of a mental thing for them and mental toughness. So like they had to do wall sits for a time, and they compete. And one of the kids, Mikey Garrison, did it for 5 minutes with 25 on his lap, and they are willing to compete. And we went to Shattern, so we saw a lot of Colorado, Wyoming schools, Western Nebraska schools that we usually don't see. And then we went to the Epic passing camp, the shootout, which I think helped us because we didn't even pass the ball total last year it was under 500 yards. And I was like, we need to get that up. And so that helped us a lot, helped Colt a lot. And then we went to Epic down in Kansas, Clyde, Kansas, and we got to see some Eastern schools, and Med Valley was there. And then we got to see Cunningham, they were the state champs for Kansas 6-man. So we got to see a lot of good competition and got a lot of guys in and played. And they were itching for a good season this year, and they stepped up, and the leadership is amazing this year too. Those sophomores, and we only have 2 seniors, but they're really stepping up in the leadership, but they were working their butts off this summer, and that's huge.
Now, final one for you, Coach. You start out 2-0, obviously feeling good about things, but there's tons of unfinished business. There's 6 more games in the regular season. There's playoffs. How do you keep your group focused after a strong start?
I think we just keep ourselves focused. We talk about the little things, and we're just taking each game week by week. And like I told him yesterday, it doesn't matter if we're playing Arthur, Stewart, Garden County, or if we're playing one of the lower schools in the state. Like, we're going to come ready to go, and we're going to prepare like we're playing Stewart, Garden County, Arthur every week, and take it week by week. And our schedule, I think, this is my opinion, but I think we have the toughest district in 6-man. We had 4 of the 6 teams make it in the playoffs last year. Paxton was the first one out. So we could have had 5, and then Med Valley has a new coach, Scott, so they're going to be better. And I think everybody is better. And South Platte had a huge win last night, and they're going to be better. So we gotta be ready to go when it comes to district play, and that's kind of how we keep them at. Just take it week by week. We're not looking forward. I mean, everyone's goal this year is to make it to Kearney and win state. I mean, that's every team's goal is to start the season. Everyone wants to get there and win state, but we're just going to take it week by week and not focus on the big games ahead. But we're just going to take game by game, no matter who we play, and we're gonna come out and do our thing.
That will do it for this week's episode of the podcast. Be on the lookout for Athletes of the Week, brought to you by First Central Bank. Always highly anticipated. We typically drop those on Thursday at noon Central Time. We have some great content continuing to roll out. Of course, we're in season, but then also on RPAC Rundown Overtime. We have a lot of great stuff there too. So be sure to check it out. If you are not a subscriber of RPAC Rundown Overtime, I implore you to do it. $3 per month plus tax, or $30 per year plus tax for some great exclusive content on rpacrundown.com. We want to thank all of our great sponsors of the pod, like JBK Operating LLC, Scouts Recreation, First Central Bank, Cross Diamond Cattle Company, Tri-Valley Medical Foundation, and Prairie Girl Candle Company. Thanks a bunch for tuning in. We will catch you later.